How's it going, everybody? Sir Douglas here of the Argos Fancast, and today, upon sober review, Argonauts 58, Ottawa REDBLACKS 38 in the East semifinal. The Argos are moving on to Montreal to take on the Alouettes this coming Saturday, 3 p.m. It's going to be on. I believe it's a CTV game, so you can check that out on your local station. As far as I know, there's going to be some watch parties as well, and there's going to be a good contingent of Argo fans headed up to Montreal as well. So that's going to be awesome for all. That's going to be awesome on so many levels. But let's talk about. But enough of that about the future. Let's talk about the past. Let's talk about the game. Uh, there was over 18,000 people there at the East semifinal, and that's actually for me a little bit. That's a little low for a playoff game, but hey, the fact that we had to contend with traffic from the Royal Winter Fair, which is kind of weirdly named because it takes place in the fall. But yeah, the fact that I know for me personally, I couldn't get to the tailgate lot. I had to actually park on the opposite end of the stadium and walk over with all my gear. Thankfully, it was only a cooler. So, uh, so yeah, so basically that was really the only hiccup for the whole day. But let's get into the game now. First quarter, Ottawa ends up getting the ball first, and looks like they decided to continue off where they pretty much continue off where they bookmarked it back at the fourth quarter of the game 2 weeks ago when they took on the Argos at BMO Field and just did everything they could to keep possession of the ball. They were able to convert. They were able to convert on all sorts on little short passes, nothing deep, but everything underneath they were able to get. But lots, and like not really much running, just lots of passing from Drew Brown. The initial drive, however, stalled in the red zone. Lewis Ward came out, got a field goal, 3-0 early Ottawa lead. Toronto's first drive, made us do that a little bit. Got to a 2 and out. On Ottawa's second drive, they decided to try and catch us napping on a flea flicker. Uh, Task failed successfully on it. They managed to get a pass interference penalty basically that was a spot of the ball foul. So that was not good. I have to mention lots and lots of passing from the Red Blacks. Lots of passing. Basically, the Argos weren't giving them anything deep. They were just going right to the underneath stuff, and the Argos weren't really able to stop them. Braylon Addison, he was a busy guy. He was a busy guy on Saturday, and it pretty much started right off the hop in the first quarter. But eventually, eventually we got to the first and goal. First and goal was nope. Second and goal, Drew Brown found Braylon Addison and made a very pretty catch too. It looks like it went off of like he kind of picked it off the back nameplate of Royce Metier, and they scored a touchdown. Extra point was good. 10-0 Ottawa lead. Toronto's next drive. Basically two play action passes. Got two first downs. The drive, however, stalled on the 37-yard line. The Ottawa 37. Liram got out there, kicked a field goal at the end of the first quarter. It was 10-3. In that first quarter, though, this is what I mean by Ottawa decided to keep going with the strategy from the previous game. Toronto only had 3 minutes and 13 seconds of possession in the first quarter. 3 minutes and 13 seconds of possession. Ottawa, on the other, dominated the possession in the first quarter. They had something like 22 or 23 plays compared to Toronto's 7 in the first quarter. It was ridiculous, and so I was just thinking, well, this is just a continuation. Like I said, this was a continuation of what happened in the last game. So, moving on to the second quarter, Ottawa takes the ball from the 40-yard line as you can when a field goal is kicked. Uh, Argos ended up getting a sack, ended up being in second of the game for the Argonauts there, and and forces Ottawa to get a 2-and-out. Toronto's next possession. Oh my goodness, see, poor Chad, poor Chad. He got basically Lorenzo Malden came in untouched and just utterly clobbered Jack Kelly. And with the clobber, Chad fumbled the ball and it was recovered by Ottawa. So once again, we're kind of like, please not again. Now keep in mind when that happened, it was like I said, it's excellent field position for Ottawa to do something. Well, when Ottawa took over, the first play of the drive, and it was nearly picked off by Deshaun Amos, nearly picked off by him, and it was just that close, just a matter of maybe an inch of extra height or arm length, and Deshaun would have had it, but instead, unfortunately, it was just a swat, and it was just a knockdown, and I know, like, just from looking at his demeanor, he knew he had it too. He knew he had it, so. Tough break for Deshaun there. The following play, there was Drew Brown threw the ball, looked like he was looking for Braylon Addison again, but this time he actually got nailed for illegal participation. So basically, what that means is that if you step out of bounds, you cannot come back in bounds again. So, and if you do and make a play out of it, you're going to get nailed for exactly that, illegal participation. So that's exactly what happened. He stepped out of bounds, and we were all kind of like, why did he do that? And then we realized, oh, he must have stepped out of bounds because a ball just hit him and went to the turf. Didn't bother trying to make a grab because he knew he screwed up. So that ended up being a Lewis Ward field goal. Ottawa now a 10-point lead at 13-3. Toronto's next drive, oh boy. Oh, Chad Kelly, he shook off the hit pretty good. He launches it to Mackay Polk. Absolutely wide open, untouched. Touchdown. Absolutely no question. It was a beautiful play on it. Extra point was good. Ottawa still leads 13-10, and by the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, Mackay Polk had over 100 yards already. And why is he not picked as the most outstanding rookie for the year? I have no idea. Anyway, Ottawa's next drive, Braylon Addison continued to be a menace. I'm beginning to think that I didn't presume. I always know that Jalen Acklin was an Argo killer. Braylon Addison with this game pretty much cemented himself as like, hey, I'm an Argo killer too. So, basically, he was instrumental in getting into field goal range. Lewis Ward, another field goal. 16-10 Ottawa. Toronto's next drive. This time, Jack Kelly finds Tavares Daniels. He made a nice, nifty little move and got in the end zone for a touchdown. So that was, extra point was good. It became 17-16 Toronto. Toronto leads by 1. And oddly enough, under 5 minutes of possession, for the whole game, under 5 minutes of possession, 1 point lead. Someone tell me how that works. I have no idea. Ottawa's next possession, we got to the 3-minute warning. Khalil Pimpleton, he had the ball, he was stripped of it, but however, it was recovered by Ottawa. However, the referee said, who was Andre Prue, everybody's favorite referee, he said that Pimpleton was down by contact, and with that the Red Blacks got the ball inside the 20. Regardless, I mean, it wouldn't have mattered anyway because Toronto didn't recover the ball. If they did, I'd be a little more upset. But in this case, no, I wasn't that upset. At this point, Jalen Acklin finally decided to show up, and Drew Brown found him in the end zone for a touchdown. He completely beat Royce Metier on a fake, and he was utterly wide open. Extra point was good. So Ottawa retakes the lead at that point. Then we get a kind of a weird thing happening here because I think they were trying to go for a squib or something, and it was just completely botched off. It was just a completely botched kickoff. Toronto takes the ball, and they're on Ottawa's 46-yard line, so already great field position. And with seconds left to go, Liram Hairolahu goes out there and absolutely hammers a 53-yard field goal to make it a 23-20 Ottawa lead. So halftime comes around, 3-point lead for Ottawa. At first you're kind of, kind of again, but in this case now I was starting to feel like, we might have this in the bag here. So let's now go into this. Let's now go into the second half. Start of the third quarter. First play. This is the very first play of the half, and once again, Chad Kelly, flush from the pocket, runs, slides. Frankie Griffin, very clear and obvious headshot on him. No doubt about it. He gets 15 yards. Is he gonna? I'm thinking he's gonna get a fine because of that, because Chad was already in the slide. He was already in the slide. You have to pull up, and Griffin just laid into him with the shoulder. But then again, whoever's backing the bounty against Chad Kelly is probably going to pay the fine anyway, so it doesn't matter. And of course, with that, because it was a very clear headshot, Chad Kelly was removed from the game for 3 plays in order to get looked at and make sure he was okay. So Nick Archibald comes in. First play of that, Kadeem Carey ran for 9 yards. Second play, Kadeem Carey runs for a first down. Third play, another first down by Kadeem Carey gets it into the red zone. At this point, Chad Kelly comes back in, first and goal. Nice little sidearm pass to Devaris Daniels for another touchdown. Extra point was good. Toronto takes a 4-point lead. It's now 27-23. Ottawa's next possession, they actually had a half-decent return, got it back to their 44-yard line. Now, in this drive, there really wasn't that much to it. However, Drew Brown, up to this point, had 15 straight completions. And in this case, there was I think there was a dropped ball or two that led to Ottawa kicking it back to Toronto. So then Toronto's next drive, Chad Kelly yeets it to Mackay Polk, gets it inside the Ottawa 30-yard line. Incredible, another nice little moonshot. Mackay Polk, like I said, how is he not the most outstanding rookie in the East Division this year? How is he not the most outstanding rookie? I have no idea. Next play, Chad Kelly tried to throw the ball, but initially I thought this was intentional grounding, but he actually got it beyond the line of scrimmage, so it was okay. Then another pass by Chad to Jake Herslow. Welcome back, Jake, and he was able to get the first down. As we keep going, once he gets inside the red zone, it was a Kelly keeper. He just ran it in for a touchdown. Extra point good. 34-23 Toronto lead. Next possession, Red Blacks get one first down, and that's it. And then one play, Benji Franklin, boy, he had a good day. He was able to completely stuff Braylon Addison in one play, absolutely buried him in the turf, and it was great. Toronto's next possession, though, this was another one, and this one was not very good, because what happened was Wakefield completely beat Van Dal and absolutely buried Chad into the turf again. Now, I know he came over trying to chirp us, and of course, I gave him a little "you tosser." Anyway, but so John Haggerty had to punt from the end zone, and he actually got the ball out got some distance on it, and they were at the Toronto 50-yard line. Ottawa's next possession. So they were able to move the ball up the field a little bit, and then Drew Brown with a deep ball tried to find. I think he tried to find Hardy or Addison in the end zone. And the ball basically bounced off of like 4 players. And I think it bounced off to Sean Amos and Royce Metier, and the ball just falls harmlessly to the turf to make it an incomplete pass. So it's just one of those things where it's just one big cloud of humans trying to get a ball, and it didn't quite work. Lewis Ward, field goal attempt, it was good. 34-26, Toronto still leads. Then Toronto's next drive, Herslow got it. Herslow again, another first down for that young man, and then Deontay McMahon, he also got a first down. But on the play, there was a holding call against DeForest Daniels. Well, I guess we know why he doesn't really block all that much. So, but DeForest made up for it. We caught a pass from Chad Kelly to get the first down, and that was the end of 3 quarters, and Toronto now has the lead. Like I said, I was still feeling a little nervous based off of the previous game, but things were starting to calm down, and the Argos were starting to row and starting to pull together. So as we start the fourth, couple another good plays. Found Dave Unger the third. Found Kadeem Carey on a 2nd and 2, ran it in for a first down, and then he finds Herslow again, and this time it was in the end zone for a touchdown. Extra points good. 41-26 Toronto lead. On Ottawa's next drive, this is where Drew Brown calls on Khalil Pimpleton and says, "Okay, I'm just going to go to you exclusively." And sure enough, several passes go to Khalil Pimpleton while Brown was under pressure the whole time. And then the one time he doesn't do it. This was a little contentious if you ask me, but I'm pretty sure they got it right in the end. So Drew Brown finds Justin Hardy, and Hardy gets to the end zone. However, and it was initially ruled a touchdown. However, the knee was down before the ball crossed the plane of the goal line. So upon the review, they basically said, okay, first and goal on the 1 yard line. So out comes the Argos goal line defense. Here we go. First and goal, didn't get in. Second and goal, didn't get in. Third and goal, they didn't get in. But command center looked at it again. Point of the ball did make it over the line. Touchdown Ottawa. This time, and if you're wondering, well, from the views that we had in the stadium, we didn't see that the ball crossed, but when I looked back on the TSN broadcast, the overhead cam is the one that tells you that Crum made it into the end zone for the touchdown. So yeah, overturned the call on the field. It was a touchdown, and they attempted to go for 2, didn't go anywhere. So it was a 41-32 Toronto lead now. Toronto next possession. Couple of good plays from Chad Kelly. He found Kevin Mittal, and he got a few yards, but then got horse collar tackled, and so you're going to tack 15 on the end of that. And then Chad Kelly again. Those he loves to throw those cross-body passes. Those passes scare me because those are the ones that usually get picked off. So, but he threw it. He threw a cross-body pass. Found Deshaun Brissett. It went through his hands and right into the breadbasket of DeForest Daniels for a first down. Task failed successfully. Then as the Argos are threatening, and then once again, Kelly gets sacked by Wakefield again. That's the third time in this game he got drilled, and then it just led to a Liram Hajrullahu field goal, 44-32 lead. Ottawa's next possession didn't really do all that much. Got within field goal range, but Tyshawn Blackburn had a nice swat and a nice knockdown, and then we had the game that made the stadium go absolutely ballistic. This was the play right here. It was Brown back to pass, throws it. Winton McManus picks it up. Now at first I didn't know that Winton got the interception. I'm just looking at it like, yes, we got a pick. So he ends up going into traffic. However, he lateraled. Now this is the part I didn't see. He lateraled it. He lateraled to Tavares McFadden, who then circled around, got around everybody, and ran it home for a pick six. Dagger. ball game. It's over. Extra points good. 51-32 Toronto lead. Incredible stuff. And the thing is, we're not done though. On Ottawa's next possession, they never Dedman got jacked up on the return, so he ended up having to get off the field. And Ottawa this whole time, they never said die. They never said die. However, here's the next one. It was another interception. It was the man who actually leads the league in pass breakups, Benji Franklin. And no one from the Benji Franklin fan club has got a gun pointed at the back of my head right now. At least not to my knowledge. But he got a pick. He ran it in all the way in for a pick six as well. Extra point. And at this point, the game's all over, and the fans are just going absolutely ballistic in the stands. And the atmosphere was just so good to be in. Extra point was good. 58-32. Final possession for Ottawa. It was getting a little chippy near the end, but once again, Brown finds Addison in the end zone for a touchdown. Extra point is good. And that's how it ends. A 58-38 final. Chad Kelly, he pretty much played as perfect of a game as you could get. He was 18 for 20, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That was about as a perfect game as you can get. That is the Chad Kelly that we are used to seeing. That was the Chad Kelly of last year's regular season. Because we all know we saw the Chad Kelly of the East Final earlier in the year. And Mackay Polk once again. He got well over 100 yards on the day. Beautiful sunny afternoon in Toronto. If you haven't come to an Argo game, why not? Why haven't you? You need to come. You need to come. It is great. It is great football, and you're supporting the local team as well. So that's pretty much going to do it for me for this. I mean, it's a 58-38 the final. It was actually a couple of other little things. It was actually I believe the Argos tied the club record for most points scored in a Grey Cup playoff game. Both teams combined broke the record for most points scored in a Grey Cup playoff game. If you took the under, I pity you. And lastly, it was a scoregami. If you don't know what that is, allow me to explain. This was the first time this particular scoreline has ever been recorded in CFL history. There has been no other game where it's been 58-38, which is actually fantastic. So once again, the Argos continuing to rewrite record books as they go along. But going on to Montreal next week, and of course, the East Final has always been the biggest hurdle for us, because we all know that, because most of us always know that as soon as the Argos make the Grey Cup, it's pretty much just, we don't really have to play the game, just give us the trophy, because we don't lose in Grey Cup games. But East Final, though, that is where the struggles mostly happen. We're 1-2 in East Finals, so I'm hoping that come Saturday, fingers crossed, Ryan Dinwiddie can even that record to 2-2, and we can get to the Grey Cup and make my trip out to Vancouver that much more expensive. And I mean, it's already pretty expensive to begin with. Anyway, that's going to do it for me for this week. Please throw a like. Please subscribe to the channel, because that's where you're going to find the instant reactions through shorts. I'm going to be documenting the Grey Cup Festival through shorts as well. And of course the Upon Sober reviews. There will be one next week. There will be one early next week for the East Final. And after that, there's only going to be one more big episode, and that's going to be the Grey Cup. And that's going to take place in a couple of weeks' time. As for the game itself, if you're wondering, there's going to be, as far as I know, like I said, there's a fairly big contingent going to going to Montreal. Probably some of them maybe via Ottawa. I have no idea, but they're all going to but a lot of them are going to Montreal. There are, um, there are going to be watch parties in and around the city of Toronto. Uh, Stay tuned on certain social media aspects, then you'll know where they're going to be. I think that there's a state in Maine and Etobicoke that's probably going to have one. But if you can't make it out, well, you can join me. I'm going to be having a watch along live stream for the East Final, and if we make it through, it'll be for the West. Have one for the West Final as well to determine to see who our potential opponents are going to be, or Montreal's potential opponents, but hopefully our potential opponents. I'm not looking past Montreal. Montreal's a very tough team. So yeah, so come on back for that in a few days, and we'll see you then. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you in a couple of days for the East Final against Montreal Alouettes. Take care, everyone.